Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to another day of our Readers Workshop this week. Today, we're going to do our first activity, because yesterday you guys did your interactive reading journal. But today, we're going to be doing a specific skill, and us teachers are going to model what that's going to look like. And so, our objective today is readers compare and contrast what happens with their characters in order to be better in order to better understand what's happening in the text and become better readers, because we really want to see, how are our characters the same or how are they different, and what does that teach us as readers? Because I can learn a lot from my characters, just like when you're watching a movie or reading a book, you can also learn a lot from your characters. And so today we're going to continue reading No More Noisy Nights. And what we're going to do, the skill we're going to use is, I'm going to show you the seesaw assignment that I have for you. I've chosen 2 characters per page, and we're going to model for you the first 2 pages, and you're just going to do the last page. And I've chosen 2 characters, and we're going to talk about and compare and contrast how they responded in the nighttime. Okay, and you might be wondering, well, Ms. D, how do we compare and contrast? And so normally in a reader's workshop class, I would tell you to do it with your own book, but because we don't know what you have at home, and because I want to make sure I understand what you're reading, I've chosen it for you. But in the case that if you want to try this skill with your own book, this is what I would do. First, you would choose an event. Choose one important event that happened in the text. Then think, how did one character react to that event? Then think, how did the other character react to that one event? So we're always just focusing on one event at a time, and then asking ourselves, how did those characters react? And so in this example, we're going to be talking about the nighttime in this book, and how did Jackson react, and how did the ghost react for this page. And so I'm going to play the story, and I want you to think to yourself, how did both characters react when something happened in the nighttime? Okay, so we're going to play the story, and I'm going to pause when we're ready to discuss. So here we go.
Illustrated by Guy Wallach. All right, let's get started. Jackson worked hard all day moving into his new house. After dinner, he relaxed, and at 9 o'clock, he climbed into bed. That's when he heard. Oh dear, Jackson said. There must be a ghost in the attic. I hope this noise stops soon. But it didn't. So Jackson stuffed his ears with cotton balls and tried to sleep. The next morning.
So I'm going to pause right there, because the event we chose was nighttime. So we just read the part about the nighttime, and let's think, how did Jackson respond to what was happening in the nighttime? So let's think about that. And teachers, when you're ready, you can give me a thumbs up, and we're going to write a complete sentence of how Jackson responded right here. Ms. Rosales, what do you think?
Jackson tried to block the noise that was coming from the attic by covering his ears.
Wow, and I love that you're using your own words, and it's a complete sentence. Now, what made you remember that event that happened?
I was looking at the picture.
Okay, good.
And listening.
Awesome. So we can use the same strategy that Ms. Rosales used by looking at the picture and reading the text to see what's happening. So we saw over here that he was, and I can go back real quick, right here. Yeah, he stuffed his ears with cotton balls and tried to sleep. So that's what he was doing at the nighttime. Now that's what we did the first thing. We chose an event, and then we thought about, how did one character react? Now we're going to go to the other character. How did he or she react? How did the ghost react to the nighttime? What happened there? Missy Kimolich?
The ghost was like really happy, and he was saying "Ow, ow, ow."
Oh, I want to go back and see, how do we spell "ow, ow, ow"?
Yeah, I was like, oh, oh, oh.
Let's see. And of course, I'm going to put the link to the story so you can go ahead and go back and look too. So it's a lot of O's and E's.
Oh, I don't know how to say that.
I'm just going to write, actually, this one looks like ooh.
Yeah, ooh.
He was saying ooh. Awesome. So we have two different reactions here, right? Jackson doesn't like the noise, but the ghost is making all this noise. So we know from this event, both of our characters are having very different reactions. And that's what happens in books. Sometimes characters have different responses. Awesome. So now we're going to go to the second page and continue reading. This time, we're going to look at Jackson and the monster. Let's compare and contrast how they responded again in the nighttime. So again, I chose an event. Now I'm going to think how is one character reacting and how is the other character reacting. Here we go.
Jackson said, "There must be a ghost in the attic. I hope this noise stops soon." But it didn't. So Jackson stuffed his ears with cotton balls and tried to sleep. The next morning, Jackson was so tired, he poured orange juice on his cereal and ketchup on his toast. After breakfast, Jackson peeked into the attic. "I'm sorry to disturb you, Mr. Ghost, but could you please stop all night? I would like to sleep." "Oh, I'm sorry," said the ghost, "but what else can I do?" Let me think about that," said Jackson. Jackson thought about it all day while he unpacked. After dinner, he put a box on the attic floor. Then he relaxed in his favorite chair. And at 9 o'clock, Jackson climbed into bed. That's when he heard, "Buggity, wuggity, 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 woo!" "Oh dear," Jackson said, "there must be a boogie monster in the basement. Oh, I hope this noise stops soon." But it didn't. So he stuffed his ears with cotton balls, pulled on his thickest ski cap, and tried to sleep. The next morning, Jackson was so tired he could barely open his eyes to pick out his clothes. After breakfast, Jackson tiptoed down the stairs. "Sorry to disturb you, Mr. Monster, but could you please stop boogity woogity wooing all night? I need to sleep." "Boogity woogity whoop," said the boogie monster, "but what else can I do?" "Well, let me think about that," said Jackson. Jackson thought about it all day while he unpacked. After dinner, he left a box at the bottom of the basement stairs. Then he relaxed in his favorite chair.
I'm going to pause right there, and I know I let the story go a little bit further because I really want to test you to think about, are you thinking about the nighttime to compare and contrast our characters? So let's go back and talk about Jackson. How did he respond during the nighttime with the monster? Ms. Hernandez, what do you think?
So I know that in the story, he was trying to go to sleep again, but there was more noise. Once more time, he was getting a little bit frustrated. So one more time, the text said that he covered his ears with cotton balls, and then he covered his whole head with a thick cap to try to block out some of that noise.
I love that Ms. Hernandez is paying so much attention to the close details. So there was a little difference. It was cotton balls in the beginning, but now it's cotton balls plus a thick cap. So we know he's really getting serious about this noise, right? And I love that we're using complete sentences. You can write more than one sentence if you need to explain how each character is responding to this event. Awesome, thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Now let's look at our monster. How did he respond to the nighttime? What did he do? Teachers, when you're ready, you can give me a thumbs up. Ms. Rosales?
I'm sorry. So I remember that the monster was also making noise.
Mm-hmm.
And it was being loud to the point that it went through the floor.
And do we remember the sound effect that the monster used?
Ms. Yakimowicz, can you help me out?
Oh, I don't remember. Can we look back at the text?
I love that you said that. It's okay if we don't remember. That's why we reread texts. So it was right about, right here.
Oh, boogity woogity. Yeah, he was saying
Boogity woogity
boogity woo. Yeah.
He went boogity
Woogity. Ooh.
And it's okay if we spell it wrong. You just make your sound effects, try it as best as you can. Awesome. So again, here we were comparing, contrasting our characters and seeing how they responded during the nighttime. Now, also, readers, I want you to notice that the nighttime is we're talking about nighttime for Jackson. Because if you noticed, Ms. Rosales mentioned this last time we were reading too, is that the nighttime could be different for each character because maybe the characters sleep at different times. But I want to clarify that the moment I chose was nighttime for Jackson because I want you to see how they responded during that time. So I'm going to play the rest of the story, and I know you're going to need to pay attention and use the skills that we've been practicing to come up with the last character. Yes, Ms. Rosales.
I'm sorry, it wasn't me, Miss T. That was Miss Yakimowicz. Credit where it's due.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Ms. Yakimowicz. You were doing also an amazing job. We're going to go back to the story right here, I think. Okay, and we're going to read the rest of the story. And again, this is the skill that we're practicing. I want you to choose we already chose an event for you. It's nighttime. I want you to think about how did one character react to that moment and how did the other character react to that moment.
That's when he heard, plink, plink, plonk, plink, plonk, plink, plonk. Oh dear, said Jackson. There must be a pixie in the piano. I hope this noise stops soon, but it didn't. So he stuffed his ears with cotton balls, pulled on his thickest ski cap, wrapped his pillow around his head, and tried to sleep. The next morning, Jackson was so tired, he washed his face with toothpaste and brushed his teeth with soap. After breakfast, Jackson peeked into the piano. Sorry to disturb you, Miss Pixie, but could you please stop plink-plunking all night? I really need to sleep. Plink-plunk, pardon me, said the piano pixie. But what else can I do? Let me think about that, said Jackson. Jackson thought about it all day while he unpacked. After dinner, he put some sheet music on the piano. But he was too tired to relax in his favorite chair, so Jackson climbed straight into bed. That's when he just barely heard the gentle thud of puzzle pieces, the quiet chugga-chugga of a toy train, and the soothing sounds of a pixie lullaby. Jackson sighed, he closed his eyes, and he finally fell asleep in his new house with his not-so-noisy new friends.
Awesome. So now it's your turn, boys and girls, to come up with how you think Jackson responded to the nighttime and how Pixie responded to the nighttime. And you can always go back to the previous pages to see what we wrote. Again, you can click the pages through the right-hand side of the bar. There's page 1 that we did, page 2, and you're going to do page 3, okay? And please use us as an example, and you can replay this video many, many times in order for you to understand how do we compare and contrast our characters. But I know you're going to do your best work and such a great job. So thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Wait!
Yes.
Boys and girls, this week is special. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. Woo! So don't forget to say thank you to your teachers. Bye.
We love you.
Bye. Love you. Bye.